Okay everyone, welcome back to my channel. So here is that promised Catasetum update video. I'm just gonna jump right into it. So this is Cloecia rusliana, and its flowers they're green with stripes. The smell is really odd. It's like a weird mix of, I don't know how to explain it. It's like a weird mix of mint, gardenias, and almost Indian food or something weird like that. Like I smell all three at different times. I don't know how to explain it, but its bulb is actually growing. Of course it is, but it's actually a little bit bigger than the past growths. And this plant, what used to be a lot bigger, but most of it rotted away. So that's just all that I was left with this year. So I was really happy to see that. I got that from Carolina Orchids. And it was going to bloom last year, but it just killed its spike, so it was really sad. Oh, also, there's a lot of salt buildup on the outside of these pots. This is a Catasetum Feng Xing, and I won't move it because I don't want it to get all messed up or break a spike or anything. And it bloomed for me last year too. It looks it's a little bit darker for Feng Xing than a lot of them are. So it's kind of confusing, but I'm pretty sure that's its ID. But this bulb fattened up so much. It used to be so skinny, and now it really fattened up this year. But yeah, it's got a spike, and I'd say maybe 2 weeks or so for that. This is a Cloecia Rebecca Northern crossed with Catasetum Cirrhoides from Fred Clark. This is the growth that it came with, and I grew this one. It's about a foot tall. So yeah, that was really cool. And then also, it's putting out a spike. But I just love big growths on Catasetum, so I'm always so happy when I get one. But yeah, these are the ones with like really advanced spikes, and I think I have 2 more over there that do have spikes, and I'll get to those. Can't believe I almost forgot about this guy. He's also in bloom. It's Mormodi's Buccinator. It has given me a bloom before, and it was like a darker yellow. And it smells kind of like bubblegum, which I think is an interesting scent. And it has a nice little shape to its flower. It's always nice to, to see this flower and to smell it. It's actually a very strong scent. But then we also have these two over here with spikes. These two over here with spikes are the Cloecia Greystone Chad's Ford. It's just starting it down there at the base. Right there. See? And then we also have one on this Cycnodes from Fred Clark. It's the Cycnodes Jean E. Monnier. Is that what it is? Yeah. Crossed with Cycnodes Richard Brandon. And it's just starting the spike up here. There we go. Yeah, it's a little bit bigger than the last growth that it had. And this one really did good for me. Its growth is a lot bigger for it. This is another Fred Clark hybrid, but I didn't buy it from Fred Clark. I actually bought it from Looking Glass Orchids. I think they buy flask from Fred Clark and then raise them from seedlings. It's a Cloecia Rebecca Northern Grapefruit Pink crossed with a Catasetum Milena Davidson, what was it, pomegranate explosion or something like that? Bombshell, never mind. But basically, this plant, I've seen blooms like the pink. I've also seen pure white blooms. So that's going to be interesting, but it doesn't have a spike. It is very plump, actually, compared to its last 3 growths. So maybe next year. And then this one, I also got from Looking Glass Orchids. And it's a Catasetum pileatum, just Imperial, crossed with Snow White. It grew pretty good for me this year too, compared to its last growths. So those two are really healthy and they're doing good. This big guy is a Fred Clark After Dark Sunset Valley Orchids. It's the kind of like the burgundy brownish one. It's got a really fat growth. Here, I'll turn it this way against the sun so you can see it a little bit better. It's got a really big growth compared to the last one. It grew and then it stopped growing for me about a month and a half ago, and it's just done nothing, so I'm assuming it's done growing. But in that time, it also has gotten some scale on it. Now, it's not like a whole infestation, and I'm pretty sure they're all dead. So I'm not really worried about it. All the bugs on my plants tend to die when I bring them inside. They just hate it inside compared to being outside. So there's that one, and then also I have this one. It's a tenebrosum, just a tenebrosum cross from Set by the Orchids. It's a lot skinnier than the last growth, but it's a little bit taller, I think. So I'm still waiting on this one to mature out, but it's got a really big leaf span for the small bulb, so I feel like it does have a lot of potential. So yeah, that's that one. I have the rest of them are down there on the floor, but I think this is the last really healthy one that I have to show you guys. Then it starts to dwindle down to the ones that are struggling, so we'll get to those. This one is a cross from Fred Clark, but it's not from Fred Clark. His always tend to do a lot better than when I get them from anywhere else. Anyway, this is the Fred Clark Yara After Dark SVO Black Pearl, and its last growth was attacked by spider mites and a bunch of other stuff, so it just didn't do great for me. And this one is just really weak, and it was attacked by nothing. It just didn't do much. But the initial growth that I gave it is this one. Came with just this one and this new growth. And I grew this one up, then I grew that one, then this one. So it's not in the greatest shape, but I feel like next year it just took these 2 years to really save up some energy. So next year it should be a little bit better. And its leaf span is actually quite small, but we also have this one over here. It's a Catasetum denticulatum. Another Fred Clark cross that's not from Fred Clark. It's from Looking Glass Orchids. And Catasetum denticulatum was on the top of my list for the longest time. And I finally got one. I mean, it's not doing great, but it's still growing. I mean, it's just a little bit behind. That's it. And then, it should still be okay. I feel like it might finish out its growth maybe here. It just might take... I might leave it for another month or so, just let it keep growing, and then I just gotta wait for it to mature out, and then I'll, let it go dormant. But for now, I think it just needs to finish out that growth. This is a Clausia Rebecca Northern crossed with Ormodes hooker eye, and it would be a very nice hybrid if it just didn't have such a weird growing pattern. Now, I got this one for free from Fred Clark. It's just, it pushed its growth out halfway up the last bulb, and that's really annoying. So it just never grew right, and then it was attacked by every bug that's possible. I don't know, this plant kind of really annoys me. So I might wait for new growth to come off of this newest growth next year, and I'll just take it off of this growth, and hopefully then I'll have 2 plants, or I'll just have 1, because I can't grow it like this. It's just too annoying for me. So, yeah, there's that one. Then we also have this one down here from Rare Earth Orchids, and it has always struggled with me. Pushed out new growths last year, and that was this one, and it really struggled to grow. And this year I got this one, and it's really struggling. But I feel like most things from Rare Earth Orchids just take a little bit of time, unless you're getting one of the really big ones. Like this Catasetum functioning up here, I got that one from Rare Earth Orchids. And then one down there that's struggling too, which I'll get to, is from Rare Earth Orchids too. Okay, so this is that plant that I was talking about from Rare Earth Orchids. It's a Catasetum Ryan Harrington, and it actually has a decent growth. It's just that it hasn't grown in 2 months. So it pushed out this growth in maybe late May, early June, so a little bit late. And then it grew for a little bit, and then it just stopped growing overall. Waited for about a month, and it just never did anything. So I recently, about a week and a half ago, put it in PET just because I was like, you know what, it halted its growth, it's not going to do anything. I might as well change it, see how it does, because I plan on putting almost everything of mine into PET. I might get some Orchiata bark instead of just like mulch, but yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with this one, but hopefully it can finish out its growth. It'll start growing again. If it doesn't, well, that's okay. I feel like these 2 back bulbs are pretty plump. They can probably push out another growth. Yeah, and then we have this one right here, which is another cross from Fred Clark. It gave me a bloom last year. I don't know if you can see the shriveled up spike or not. But it's a Clausia Grace Dunn crossed with Catasetum dentigrianum. And it gave me a spike, and it was a really nice flower. I'll put it in right here. It put out this growth at normal time, and then it just stopped, and it hasn't grown for me for about 2 months. And I don't know what it is that makes them do this, but it's a very healthy growth, as you can see. It just never continued to grow, and that's really annoying. But, yeah, I think... Okay, that's my last of the Catasetums, but in my weird world, I considered Chisases, even though they're not even in the same family. And I know Pseudopodiums are, so that one definitely is part of the Catasetums, but they're still separate. But I still consider them part of the Catasetums, so I'll bring those out too. Okay, so this is my Chisis bractensis. It has a nice white flower. Obviously hasn't bloomed for me, it's quite small. I got this off eBay, and it shriveled up. Yeah, I basically rotted off the first growth. This one has, like, it just, I don't know what it did. It hardened off at the bottom, and so it's probably not supplying anything to this growth or this growth, but it's still there, so I'm not going to take it off. This growth is actually quite big. It just needs to plumpen up. And then I have this other Chisis right here, which is a Chisis lemmingi, and it's really big. It's got 3 new growths right now. These just need to plump up a little bit, but it's got another new growth coming out right here. It does not have a specific time that it follows to go dormant and not. It just does it by its own rules, but it's really heavy, and I'm probably going to put that in a hanging pot soon, but for right now, it's one of my favorite plants. I don't know, I just love the way that it grows. Chisises are always really nice like that. I don't know, I like them. But yeah, that one might give me a bloom next year. And this is my one pseudopodium. It's really big. I just got it maybe a week ago. Got it off eBay for $16 plus shipping. And its last growth is, that's what, like 4 inches? And then its new growth is easily double, and it still has a lot of growing to do. As you can see, it's still pushing out new leaves, but it's almost like this is matured down here, and this is just brand new up here. So I've got to let this grow out for a good 2 months, and then it might be ready to go dormant. This is, I never said the name. This is a Pseudopodium paranades, I don't know. And it has other names, which is, I think, was it polyphylum, maybe something like that, and flavum. I don't know. I'll put them on the screen here. I don't know, but apparently this one likes to stay wet year round. Well, not wet, but moist. So this one has interesting care. I just don't know exactly how to take care of it, but I will learn. Apparently these aren't very picky. They won't like just completely rot away like Catasetums if you get them wet. You know, one of them is native to Florida, so I mean, they obviously water year round. It's not like they're gonna die completely if I water it, but I feel like they do get somewhat of a rest, so I'm not gonna water it as much in winter, but I am still gonna water it a little bit. Anyway, so that is all of my Catasetums. Oh, I didn't talk about the flask here. That's Mormodies, that first flower from the yellow Mormodies buccinator up there. I pollinated it, and that was last year. I still need to put this into a new flask because they're just not going to grow anymore in this one, so I need to put it into a new flask, like maybe 4 different ones, because then it can grow to potential growth to live when I pull them out. Because right now, most of them are just protocorms down on the bottom, but some of them are plants. Yeah, so that's all my Catasetums. I lied. This is not the end. This is now the end. I have a dormant Moniar Millennium Magic Witchcraft. That's the black flowering orchid, if you didn't know that. It's got a really 2 nice growths on it. I'm not going to hold it like this because it's a lot harder to hold it like that. And I grew this one. I received it with this one and this one. This one is kind of a disappointment of growth, but next year it might be a little bit better because this one fell twice out of its pot. So it really just got, it really just struggled, but Now, it is the end of the video. I have finished showing you all of my Catasetums. Okay, bye now. See you guys in the next one.